Thank you for inviting me here. I'm glad to see a big audience, a lot of people. The topic today is the Arch-E, as mentioned. I'm sorry I cannot speak in your language, but I try to speak slowly in English. The Austrian Chamber is lead partner to this project, so we were in touch with Croatian Chamber from an early point of the project, and with other people through the Architects Council of Europe. We basically tried to find people who are interested in the topic, and we got a nice group of very ambitious architects together, which are working on this now since about 2 years. So I can show you quite a bit of outcome already now. That's the one. Why do we do this? We think architects' competitions are a wonderful tool to increase the quality of architecture, but also the goal of the project is to be able to advocate architectural design competitions, but also to improve the quality of design competitions. Of course, it's a means to get on the architectural market, if you say so, for the young people also, and for female architects. Here, there's a lot of female architects, I can see, also on the audience here, but also on the up here. In Austria, we still struggle with the gender balance, especially on the side of the engineers. So, what is important? The quality of the built environment, that is one means to get it. It's a quality-based procurement method. Then it's there to strengthen the SMEs, the small and medium-sized entities, the young offices, the female architects. It's good to have transparency, how a public procurement is done, so public money is spent in a transparent way. And of course, it's more economical, efficient. That might not be so clear to us at the moment, but I'll show some statistics later on. But first, let me show the group of participants. As I mentioned before, it was open to anyone in Europe, but a lot of people said we just improved our website on competitions and similar things. So what we got is a kind of core Europe here, Croatia being part of it, very proud part of it. There are 2 universities are taking part, one from Spain, one from the Netherlands, and international organizations like ACE and the UAE as well. So the first step was to get a basic knowledge. It was clear to us that everyone on national level, but also on European level, we have a knowledge about the statistics of architects' competitions and so on. But we needed a joint knowledge, which is based on research. So Eva Alvarez and Carlos Gomez from the University of Polytechnica in Valencia started with an Arch-E survey and developed also an architect's needs report analyzing the gathered details of this survey. Later on, we will also hear from Grazia Tona from the Technical University of Eindhoven. She was working basically on the maps of ADCs, which, with her colleagues, which is another large research effort of the Arch-E project, which will finally then be published on the website www.arch-e.eu, which is already there in place. So let's have a look at the survey first. You can see there are more than 20 countries which took part. That's about 1,300 responses. And Croatia had quite a good feedback with 70 in total, 42 female and 26 men. Sorry, that was a bit too fast. But it's interesting if you look at the ratio between overall architects in the country and people who took part in this. because you find that Croatia is the winner here because there's a lot of people in proportion to the size of the country taking part here. It's not Germany as you would think because they reached 1,000 feedback, but because of the size of Croatia, actually Croatia was stronger. So what's the outcome? Here we see, first of all, the barriers. Why do you not take part in a competition abroad? That's the overall outcome. You can see here there are a lot of hurdles and barriers encountered in cross-border ADCs. One of them here is the language barrier. It's a really one of the most important ones here overall seen, but also there are others, like the legal topic, legal framework is a different one, and more general ones which are not so easy to be addressed. Anyway, we already thought that this will be the case, so we focused on language and legal barriers in our tools. But first, let me show you the small-scale outcome of the responses. There's quite a difference if you compare with the former one. So here you can see that obviously turnover, the threshold of the turnover that's that one, is a higher one because more offices are often not able to provide a big turnover. So this is also something we want to address in the white paper, which will be published later on. So it will be easier for the small-scale offices to take part in competitions. And Croatia, of course, it's very different. If you look at single countries, there you can see, for example, there's a much smaller amount of people who think it's difficult to find the fee difference is not so much an issue, for example, here, or fears and risks of accepting contracts abroad is more common for the Croatian people, obviously, than for the average European taking part in this survey. So here, we just want to point out that at the time when you study in the academic world, you have about 21 people crossing borders. This is the source of the A sector study from 22, and only 7% of the colleagues work abroad. And these 7% are including all contracts, so architectural competitions, it's even less. And for Croatia, you can see that's also quite interesting which places are most interesting to take part of in competitions. So there's Italy, Slovenia, of course, Macedonia, then Finland, surprisingly, with 4, and so on. And there's quite a difference also, you can see on the right there, between the female and the male architects, because that's the one for the women. They go further, it seems, than the men which are out there. Here you get the information also from the A sector about size of the offices. So the size of the offices in Europe is very small. You can see this large round here is 1 to 2 people in the office, and the 17% is offices between up to 10, basically from 3 on. So the vast majority is a very small scale office, and you can see also from the statistics that small scale offices they have a harder time to cross borders because the thresholds. So this will be addressed from us, from the ACE and on national level, of course. Also interesting is the split between men and women here, because the women on the first bar you can see working even more in small-scale offices than the men, which are seen here. It's only half about. They work in bigger size offices. Here you can see the difference again between the genders. So what do we do against all this outcome? We have different tools we offer. So if you want to join the network, you can take advantage of that. The first one I already mentioned, the glossar. This is not only a means to translate terms every language has about 100 terms which are relevant for architectural design competitions, but also for procurement. And in this project, we focused on the definition by the local chambers. So you are basically, the creation chamber is defining the terms, but it's also referenced back to the law. So you find there the definition the chamber provides, and of course there's an English translation, so you can also compare it between the languages, like this example you can see here, with all these different definitions of the word architectural design competition. Then we have a map. The map provides information about every country which took part, about competition platforms which are there. So if you want to take part, for example, in France, you might go there and find information about platforms in France which provide information about competitions there. But also you find all the details of the chambers there which provide information, or legal basis for the French law, for example, in this case. And of course, the link to the glossary. Then we have a network. The network got started with the people who came together in this project, but is constantly growing. Already invited you, and I have here a link you can scan with your iPhone, with your phone, and directly connect now or later on. What's the idea? To connect architects, of course, to transfer knowledge and have a discussion there. But also, if you take part in a competition, you find a partner there more easily. You can find a partner for taking part in the competition. You can find a partner if you win the competition to also provide the architectural services there, develop a project. But you can also maybe take part as a juror in foreign countries' competitions. So we provide, the network is offering expertise to participate on cross-border architects competitions, as well as consultants and organizers or jury members. Did you take a scan at all? Well, if you didn't, it's also, you can find it in this book. I'm now promoting the project again. Printed in all the language, also in Croatian, so that's quite handy. And you have here further information about your country's data, which is often important if you talk to clients and local government. So we have another tool, which is a SWOT tool, which is provided for both sides, architects and clients, which is interesting. So you can put there information about concrete competition you took part in, for example, what was the quality of the competition papers to evaluate the ADC. It's also possible to send the information to your colleagues, the analysis you did. There's a check list for standards of clients. So if someone is interested in doing a competition, it's important to have a high standard. And it gives advice of how to improve the accessibility, transparency, and other vital parameters to guarantee fairness and quality-oriented outcome of the ADC. Here you can see how many ADCs there are in the different countries taking part. You can see there's a big the highest one here in Germany, but also on the side you can see that's the population of Germany. So in comparison, you can see actually there's not so many in Germany, but the winner in this case is Switzerland out there, because they obviously have the most. There's always someone better. And now that's a bit of a revolution I can present today here live, because it's a very new, fresh idea coming out of the project team and presented and developed by Nicolas Hellmeier, who is a consultant for the Austrian Chamber. He's now analyzing data on the cost of the projects which came out of competitions, and the outcome is, so far we have here a big list with different architectural competition projects which have been completed now, that the area for example, which is covered. You can see here the general floor area and the cost of the project compared to a worst project or the average project. You can see there's a difference, which means we can prove that architectural competitions lead to cheaper and more quality projects. So that's something we will focus on also in the white paper. So if anyone has data on that in your country, for example, ADC organizers, please get in touch. Give us some anonymous information about projects you have so we can fill this list further. We already have projects from Switzerland, Germany, Austria, and others, and we can base this data on our argument. So, sorry, I just wanted to say, you can see here the savings are at the moment around 13%, which is quite something, and only if you compare with the next, the second best, it's a 1.3% saving. If you have a direct commission, of course, you cannot compare, so you might end up with a project which is 13% more expensive than the one you would get through a competition. This is basically the outcome of what I just described. And now, that's the final part. Now I want to talk about regulatory issues. Obviously, there's an impact on regulation. Architectural design competitions are defined by the regulation of the European Directive of 2014, which is noted here, by national law, but also by non-binding recommendations of the chamber, which is quite important. So in this framework, that's the way how competitions are done in a very different way in different countries. So at the moment, you can, we are still improving the team. We have another budget in the Architects Council of Europe for 9 more countries. So in the future, we will have even more data and more languages available. At the moment, we have the tools which are covering about 1,500 words of the project partners. Also, which we didn't foresee when we started, the network was growing because of the interest in the project from different partners. So we have now also new European Bauhaus on board, some Davos Declaration connections, the Green Deal, and another future, a Yes We Plan, and other projects. Also, UHerit is one which is dealing with the heritage in Ukraine. So that's it for this project. Thank you very much. If you have any questions to me, please go forward, give me a sign. I'm happy to answer that.